It was so good. You want it was so pretty.
When I saw them, so with that wait time, that's the first one. We like using the functions of this.
I like this. I know. For this.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So this is what I have.
You're saying pretty much on
I looked really hard.
I know. I like
I did a whole.
I trust you. Yeah, you are so hard.
All right, we're gonna get started with today's lecture. A little bit less of a lecture. This is more of a review session, and then it's also going to be kind of a check-in for your guys' final project proposals. So just to remind you, we talked about the final project like maybe a month or a half ago. We introduced it to everyone. We introduced the assignments, and then 2 of them are due today. So big day for you guys. Some people have turned in their check-in into their final project proposal. So please go back to Gradescope and make sure that you have 2 different assignments. They are 2 different things. The check-in is supposed to take you like maybe 5 minutes. You're just supposed to tell us like, you're just like baby steps of what your project is, and then it shows us, and then you basically tell us like, yeah, I talked to my mentor, here's what they said. Your mentor is also tracking to see if you actually talked to them in person. I think I shared the spreadsheet with everyone so you can see if you got checked off or not. That is due today by midnight. So if your mentor is here and you still haven't got your check off done, you can do it today. We don't recommend that though. Please try and get office hours for check-in number 2. Let's see, final project proposal, that needs to be more fleshed out. That needs to look like an actual document that you put a lot of time and effort into. It's not your project, so you don't actually need to have technically started your project yet, but we just want to see an outline, what your goals are, what you plan to do, yada, yada, yada. Also, there was a question, I think someone asked me saying, hey, like the sample proposal you put out seems really geared towards just like data fitting or modeling, like can I do something different? And how would I write my proposal around that? And the answer is 100% yes, you can totally do something completely different. You just need to be using Python related towards something sciencey, is how I'm gonna put it. Video game technically still counts, that's Python. So just write your proposal, switch up the sections to what you think is best. We're really just wanting to make sure that you've thought about what you want to work on. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, both of those due tonight at midnight. You're holding office hours too after this, right?
I will.
Are you
An
not?
hour.
Oh wait, because when it you put up the announcement, it's like 3:30 to 5 or something.
I can.
Or no, is that not? That was last week. So sorry. No.
4:30.
No, you don't have to stay. That was my bad. Okay. I think Katie's office hours are today, but she's sick, so they're on Zoom. But if you have any questions, any burning questions, I can stay a little bit after lecture, and you guys can ask. But yeah, okay. Super excited to see your guys' final projects. They're like the best part of the class, so really excited. Okay, looks like the projector turned off. Okay, we're gonna get started. Let's see if I can. Oh. It's fine.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So this is the plan for today. Really simple. I was hoping all the mentors were going to be here, but like half of us are sick, including the interns. Seems like something's going around. So we might do something more of a mini session. But yeah. Okay. If your mentor is here, please gather with your mentor. If your mentor is not here, then just find a mentor. So yeah, rearrange yourselves. Prana, where do you want to go?
Over here. I know you're good.
Okay, I'm going to go here. Mira's gonna be back, and then Mohan's gonna be back towards the door over there.
No, we're gonna work this needs to be everybody else.
Oh,
You're gonna probably bring out some big pieces for. I had it. We're usually taking models that I
we're doing first,
I want to actually go through and I'm just gonna want to make over that.
like listening to all
Just giving my daughter that whole life.
Like
That must be good.
Data sets, like if you start like that's not something to think it. You go and talk to the staff.
Yeah.
Looking at these,
That's
so
what I usually do.
we're wondering how we like make a shared repository, so that way we can like keep ourselves caught up with each other.
Yeah, that's really, that's, what you have to go for it, sharing code, so. It's not like we're figuring out,
It's unnecessary.
Matter.
Yeah, this happened to me a few times before. In theory, yes, I could probably be. I accidentally.
But, I just want you guys to put that. That's awesome, that's
Yeah,
great.
if you accidentally back it, it kills it. Which some people told me like that I should count that as something I'm like, so but I'm like.
Yeah, so you'll need to.
I know Google's saying
If you have slides, if there's just the right, but I can also. If you have, you have to do like just the right way for myself and you. But once like think how to get something, so like, okay, I see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, so has everyone completed their check-in, thumbs up? That's your thing. No, not second, oh, that's not due till anything, then just the first.
I didn't think you guys too.
Oh, really?
Any of these.
Second one.
I know you guys started into your check-ins, you're
Once you
good.
started,
Did you turn in your
So
consumables?
show your content.
Like, have you started? No, one of them you can add that I believe.
Has everyone completed their comments?
Brianna, I have a question. On the quizzes assignment, can they add their project?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did I enable your submission?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't have to like.
Yes, I didn't think about that, yeah,
Okay.
Well, that answered that.
But everyone should turn in a separate check-in. But same proposal, same for the proposal. Yes. Oh, it says group submission is enabled. It looks like you should be able to turn it in with someone else. So you should be okay.
One little thing I changed in here for fun.
Okay. Go to the state of everyone.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels like.
Finished up.
There, now we got a red eye.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like such a big accomplishment changing something? It seems like, you know, some
Okay,
second.
I'll be
To make sure I get through this, is get excited for hell of a
Yep.
Oh, that's fine. It's just nice that you're good.
The other variable that tells us
Okay, last question.
where the.
I think we started the project.
Yeah.
Yes, we started. Got a GitHub repository going? Not yet. How about you guys? That's so fine. You probably never get started. Not yet, that's so fine. We'll have another, like check-in, the day before the 30th, so like the very last.
I remember like.
Presentations, and then that Thursday before that week, we'll do another one of the pretty much last minute. Please. Okay.
Yes, this is what.
I know you guys do. Great.
So,
Complimented them.
husband that can get dragged a long time, so. I haven't started checks in relation to itself. I feel like always what honestly gets me, I think 99% of that.
Yeah, you can make the responsible. Oh, I can put a bonus section on that, or Charlie can. There's a package, yeah, so I also can do that, there's not on the animation, but, or I can put an off, sorry. We'll see, or I can show you. There, if you Google like matplotlib function animation, it's basically how the animation works. If you basically make a plot,
And then you basically tell Python what you want to change each time, and then it updates that, and it strings them together. Kind of like, you like, you're a kid and one of those flip books, and it was like, oh, the picture change slightly each time. Basically, Python does that for you. And it's just
Like
together.
that.
I've never used it. Could be also equally awesome.
Remember it from Java. I'll have to leave it if you have
Yeah, so, okay.
I think we could also like insert like shapes as well, just like some circles. Yes, circle, yes, just some circles. And then I have the Earth radius on here, but I can also radius on here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should.
Okay, so you guys might want your.
Oh, yeah.
So, basic.
Or maybe I have a repository right now. It's located within mine.
I'm sure I'm gonna put a restriction on it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Within like, yeah, so it's like within Python. So it's like. That's right, yeah, it's right here. That's right. Oh, there.
Yeah, mine too. Okay.
Oh,
I was getting nervous.
okay, yeah, so then like put in a new one.
It looks like your
I would move like out of like the DPP cal one here.
No, actually.
Okay, so yeah, and inside of that, you have a brand new repo, and we called it.
If you have any concerns, you can report.
I would recommend under Python decal having a third folder called project.
Fine.
That's what I.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like these are the variables that.
I'll put that right here.
Yeah.
So you could say if X one change is already minus 6, that means we're facing that. And so you could say, if that's the case, don't let us. Like, don't run it.
Yeah. That is much more longer than 2 months, so I have to call you to save the class.
Yeah.
Okay, I can help you right now. Or is everyone good? Oh, I guess not, but. So that's what I'm not sure if you're like. But if you're like.
Okay, perfect. That's it.
Actually, don't forget, like, I should this is then we both have to give them for the check. I turned in the.
Then we can also like put reference there as well, like saying like where we've got this. The deployment.
And then generate other
Yeah,
data.
Don't read that.
What happens if any of them?
Yeah.
But that's not.
I feel like committed, so.
That's okay, but I don't know math that entails, but you know. Like, if there's two parts, then something that's like, okay. I mean, then I guess you wouldn't have to really worry about data separation.
Yeah.
Because all you kind of do is keep up like a down.
Yep.
I don't think you guys would need to worry about
It's like a big eye.
create a data set and then create.
All right. Till the end of the semester.
Okay.
Yep.
Might review, but.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yep, tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good, yeah. It's just the same stuff.
Okay.
And energy and.
Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
and maybe normal numbers, but. Yeah. Guy just like flexing on the classes. Yeah, no, it's something.
Oh, I like that poem.
Oh, wait. I'm just trying to.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, I love the.
I like that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because he did the exact same thing. Yeah.
Then I lost.
Oh, really?
I was like,
Oh yeah, you know how the easiest way to drink your most is when you're on stuff. There may or may not be.
It makes it easier, especially when you have like a. I think I'm seeing more time. It's like this thing that I think is. It took not a lot of
Yeah.
I personally like it when yourself is like involved in the game.
Well, there's like this example right here.
Yeah.
You know what I feel about oh, wait, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
So, but this one is just like, just sometimes people just like,
yeah.
engaging in it.
Oh my God, is this the working?
It's the 2D version. I have
The
not
working
gotten,
2D
I
Is
have
this your
not,
project?
yeah, I got it working on 2D, the 3D is currently
Cool.
hurt. That's
Maybe
what I've been
in
doing, but do you wanna try the 2D?
maybe in a
Yeah. Hopefully,
Um,
no.
You want to get how do I supposed to?
Oh, you have to move.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see just a little bit of.
Yeah, I made the
Yeah,
apples
yeah.
red now, just cause, well, I see more red apples.
It's back together. So hopefully that was helpful. Sorry that if your mentor wasn't here, a lot of people, like I said, were sick. If I would have heard everyone is making really great progress on their proposals and their projects. So super excited. We're just gonna do a little bit of review, just so we can keep thinking about different concepts with Python. We're really starting to get into the fun part of the class where you actually get to use what I like to think of practical applications of Python, like plotting or curve fitting, or like you guys already started with working pandas, which is a very, very helpful library. So yeah, okay.
Cool. I'll make one quick announcement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hi to my mentees, if you're here, I have to disappear, so if you have any last questions, please either let me know right now or send me an email. I know I said I'd be there after class today, but I cannot.
That's also from this website.
Thank you.
Goodbye, have a nice day.
Okay,
It's just
cool.
a fun show, but, no.
All right. So, with the people around you, because I'm always a fan of talking with people next to you, I would recommend everyone to now close their laptops. Everyone's favorite part. Yay! Can't use the internet. And have get into groups of 2, maybe 3, and then with a piece of paper, I want you to go over these questions, and then we will go over them together as a class. So yeah, so get out a piece of paper. Sorry, if anyone needs a sheet, I have paper, but or a pencil. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, oh yeah, this right here. Oh yeah, that's drafting. Wait, what do you mean drafting? Oh, I've never heard of like a drafting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, now there's like AutoCAD and yeah, I saw like the videos of like hundreds of videos. Yeah, honestly, I'm suspicious that these are almost.
I'm wondering if this will make an array of just zeros.
Oh, historical photos.
Yeah, I think that would work either better.
I feel more
The right one, like
you guys were doing. Oh,
Or the second one is running.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of my first ones. I remember like SolidWorks, using like SolidWorks. Figure out how to do all the different SolidWorks. So, unless you're like a engineer. AI where maybe that could be our final project thing. Because of, like we dropped the rate, there was like almost no way to network. So AI myself like finally. Finally. What is it? Oh wait, I think
I looked at something, so I'm gonna pass you right now.
yeah, some. Wait, there's a range. There's a range. Why is like grammar that? I like the fuck. Oh, right. Almost every more time. What's the difference? I think it's empty Bill. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, like that should be. I think, yeah, that's.
Bill, I think it's free from.
Okay, got kind of quiet. More time, less time. Thumbs up if you're good. I'll go over the answers. I'll like slowly walk over and then we'll get started. Cool. Okay. So I don't have my favorite stick, so I can't point. How would I create a 1D NumPy array containing numbers 0 through 9? Yes.
NP dot arrange.
And then
Of 0 to 10.
why?
I think because the first number is inclusive, but not the last number. So we have to go one above what we actually want.
Yes. Python is weird sometimes. You have to like figure out when it's inclusive, when it's not inclusive, and Python starts counting at 0, and that makes everything more confusing. But yes, for np.arrange, that is how you would create an array. I'll also type all these up so then you guys can actually see what it looks like. What is another way to do that? Yeah.
Do np.array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep, perfect. So you can literally physically type out the numbers, and you get the same exact thing in the eyes of Python. When would you do either one? Really up to you. Depends on what you're coding and why you're doing it. But yeah, so that's one. Okay. What's the difference between np.array
parentheses, square brackets, 1, 2, 3, and then NP dot arrange 0, 4. The same thing. Okay, that was kind of given away in the last question. I probably should have phrased this differently. But yeah, they're the same thing. The only thing I would like to technically say, as I said with the first one, is that you can actually physically write out the numbers in the first one, whereas the second one is kind of predetermined for you. Each are spaced by 1, whereas in the first one, I could put like 4, 18, 100, 0. I can like physically change the numbers. Yeah, okay. Cool. How would getting a little more challenging? How would I create a NumPy array of shape 3, 3 filled with only zeros?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Does a range taken a step?
Good question. Does anyone know? You know? Oh, no. NP dot arrange taken a step. Yeah, it does. Okay, that would make sense. Okay. Now for number 3, you can answer the third one. We did the checkerboard problem. This might seem familiar. Yes.
We're just NP dot zeros and 3, 3.
Yes. That's it. It's NP dot zeros 3, 3. That's it. Super complex. Yeah, I know. So yeah, NumPy has its own function to make a list of all zeros. Why might that be useful? Sometimes when you get data from different sites, you'll sometimes have null areas, and Python doesn't really understand what that means, so you would just delete that and you would just fill it with zeros instead. You might have seen that a little bit with pandas, but yeah, okay. There's also, I think, NP.ones, you can fill it all with ones. So yeah, okay. And then the last one, how would I use slicing to extract the second column from this 2D NumPy array? Also, can someone define what slicing is for me? Someone, have you answered my question? Okay, someone else. Yes.
Yeah, slicing in this case is for 2D array, kind of like taking, I can define it for 3D, but for 2D it's like taking certain columns and rows. So that's like 3.
It's basically just making, you have a giant bunch of arrays and just making tiny amounts of them. It's like being specific about what exact data you want to work with. Okay, and then how would I get the second column for this guy? Guesses. Okay, if you're wrong. This is a welcoming, safe environment. You already answered that question? Okay, no one else responds. New, I need someone new. Very painful for both of us. Any guesses at all? Any guesses? Okay, how will I start with this? How do I even index an array? 1D array, how do I index it? Like, let's say I only had this guy. How would I get this value? How would I just get number 2? I had a 1D array, which is 1, 2, 3. Anyone remember? How does it answer my question? Yes.
AR and then square bracket, and then if you're trying to get 2, it's the first index of 1 and then close the square bracket.
Yes, that is exactly right. I would just put a 1 red at the end because Python starts counting at 0. So this is technically 0, 1, 2. So to get 2, I would confusingly call 1. Okay, so that's step 1. Now, how would I extrapolate that out to a 2D array? Can anyone even tell me what the symbol is?
Like a bracket with like some columns in the center, with like some columns in the center.
Yes, getting closer. Okay, so to get an entire column, I would need to call colon. So I can show you what that means. Basically, I would call colon and then 1 to basically tell NumPy, hey, I want this entire, I want an entire column, and then I'm specifying that I want the first one. So if I rearrange this to be like a table, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would select these numbers. So I can write that out for you. But yeah, okay. So I'll quickly just write out the answers, and then we can move on to my other question. Okay. Make this smaller. My gosh. Okay, that's not gonna work. Cool. Okay. I'm just gonna drag this guy over. Handy dandy. Jupyter notebook. Okay. Okay, so my first question is, let me pull it up from my side. Cool. Okay. How do I create a NumPy array containing numbers 0 through 9? So as someone mentioned, I can call np.arrange, and then I can even just call 10. And that would give me an array from 0 to 9. You might be confused. How did you call np without importing it? I did. I just accidentally deleted it. So always call import numpy as np. Cool. Okay. For the second question, what's the difference? They're the same. How would I create an array with 3 by 3 filled with zeros? I'd call np.zeros, then 3, 3. Whoops, sorry. NP, I think it's only, there's no E. Okay. Nope. Sorry, there are 2 parentheses, I believe. There we go. Okay, that is how I would call np.zeros. Cool. Okay, and then for the very last one, in order to, let's rewrite out the arrays, np.array. I would have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. Cool. And then I would call array, and then I would call 1 or colon, comma 1 to extract the second column. It is upset at me. I think there needs to be another bracket here. Okay, there we go. Okay, you have to see me debugging in real life. It's very, as you can tell, there's a lot of little incongruities with Python. You need to remember like the exact syntax, but that is how we would extract the first column or the second column for 2 and 5. Okay, you feeling okay with that? Question or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so like when you put a colon, is that just indicating that like you are indexing a call? Like what's the colon indicate?
So I can just write it out really, or I'll just write it up here. You don't have to look at my messy handwriting. But essentially what we're calling is, I can put it in a comment. So we're writing R, and then we're specifying rows, and then we're specifying columns. So I'm essentially saying, okay, NumPy, take all of the rows, so colon, select absolutely everything, and then it's like, cool, I've selected all of your columns, and then I say, or all of your rows, and then I say, okay, and now I only want the first column. So then it's only taking 2 and 5. Oh, technically your second column, but I'm indexing it to be 1, because Python starts at 0. Does that clarify? Okay. Any other questions? Cool. Okay. It's okay if you do. All right. We are going to, I have one more slide, and then we can do you can ask me questions. Okay. All right. With your groups again on a piece of paper, can you look at this beautiful code right here, and can you tell me what is wrong with it? This is Pandas. So this is right before spring break, so this might not be the freshest in your memory. But the student here has that data above, and then they are trying to make a bar chart
So what is wrong with the code to the left? There might be one thing wrong, there might be two things wrong, there might be 8 things wrong. You discuss with the people next to you, and then we will go over the answer. Okay, so I guess you can look at it for a little bit and then talk.
Yeah. One, two. No. Yeah. What? Oh. Okay. Oh.
I can also create the terminal questions if you want. That's if it's not in the forefront, because I just taught it, but it's also whatever you're.
Oh.
That's great. Perfect, yeah, I don't have any questions. Okay, I can do 3 then, because you're not even considering this. Thank you. Okay. Cool.
I need it. And I need to really? All of my, because I'm trying to figure out class. I was on every day.
Oh, yeah, but it was really good. Yeah, I don't know.
If you need more time, if you're good, thumbs up. Thumbs down if you need more time. Good, good, thumbs up, thumbs down, good. What about in the back? You guys need more time? Good? Okay. Cool. Okay, so can someone first explain to me what's going on here? What is the first chunk of the code doing? We'll start from fresh, so if I already called on you, I can call on you again. Yes.
Getting our data in a format that we can basically plot it with.
Cool. Yeah, good enough. Yeah, perfect. Basically, what are we trying to plot? I don't have to put you on the spot. I can ask someone else.
This feels like biology. I have no idea.
I know. I didn't make it astro for the first time. Yes.
It's like the different genes, and then I'm assuming the numbers for expression are like the rates of expression.
Perfect. I don't know what expression means, but yeah. Perfect. Cool. Yep. So we have genes. What is our dependent versus our independent variable? What's your best guess? Oh, what's the difference between a dependent and an independent variable? Oh my gosh, we're back to stats. Yes.
I realize how redundant this might sound,
Mm-hmm.
but your dependent variable, like your y depends on your x.
That's great. Yeah. So if I have y and x, which one is dependent? No. No.
X is normally the.
So this is x. This is y. This is your independent, and then this is your dependent. Because when you write it, you write y of x equals like x squared. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Yay, we're doing not relevant to coding. Okay, cool. Now, can someone tell me, is this gonna make a bar chart?
No.
Why? What is this gonna do?
Create a plot.
What does that
I
mean?
mean, like a line.
Like, what is it gonna look like?
Gonna look-
What's it gonna look like?
It's gonna look like a line of like something.
Yeah, I don't know, but we can look at the numbers. But yes, it's going to make a line. What would I want to call? Yes, thank you. What would I call instead? Make a bar chart. I don't think we've actually covered this, but it's like right there. But you can, yeah. It's really like, don't think too hard about it. It is. It is. Yes, you can call plt.bar, and that will make a bar chart for you. Yeah, it would just give you little bars. Okay, cool. That'll actually be relevant in your homework that I accidentally just posted today. Sorry, it should have been posted last week. You will be making a bar chart. It is still due next Tuesday. I'll get into that at the very end. Okay, cool. So there's technically one more thing wrong with it, but this doesn't have to do with coding. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with it still?
I forgot to import pandas and matplotlib.
True, they didn't do that. I didn't think of that. That's true. There's something else though good. Like extra credit. Anything else? We just talked about it with the Y and the X. That's it. Yes. Perfect. Yes. So if I have Gene as my independent, and then depending on what the gene is, I have an expression level. That would be my Y. So I would need to flip my X and my Y label. Very, very minute, but you'll want to pay attention. Like when I'm coding, you always want to think about your end product. I find it really difficult to go into a coding project and be like, okay, kind of have this vague idea of what I need, but then I don't really think about it and I start coding and then I just get really confused. What's really helpful is one, writing out something called pseudocode and being like, okay, data, plotting, goal, or just being like literally drawing on a piece of paper, like what's my X, what's my Y, what do I expect the data to look like, and then coding that up. I find that way more helpful. That's probably also going to be really helpful for your final projects. Is thinking about what do you want it to look like. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's all of the questions I have for today. If there's anything specific anyone wants me to go over, I can put it up here. Like if you want, hey, can you walk through matplotlib one more time? I can. If not, then you are free to go home, or you can come asking questions. Yeah. Well, does anyone want me to go over any other topics? Yes? Okay. Yes, I don't know that off the top of my head, unfortunately, because you can Google it. So. Cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, you're welcome to go home or stick around and ask questions. If you have not completed your check-in, please come show it to Maham or I in the next 7 minutes.
What? Oh, wow. In 5 minutes. Oh, wow.
We have to do it on both Gradescope and Canvas for the check-in.
Just Gradescope.
Thank you.
Yeah.